Hi everyone, I'm Scotty Madonia.
And I'm Augie Bello. Welcome to Wasted Potential.
Today's guests are a singer and songwriter duo from New York City.
They just released their new single, Following Leica, and they're here to talk about it. Please welcome AfterxClass.
Yeah! Took us a couple tries, but we got the intro out.
How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Fantastic. It's so nice out today.
It's really, really nice.
It's like the first real... Well, we had a couple nice days, but now I think it's actually going to stay.
Yeah, it's like 70.
Thank God. Because this cold is miserable. I work really early in the morning and I have to be outside. And when it's like 15 degrees out at 5:30, 45 in the morning, it's no fun. How you guys doing though? Thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Augie told me, he's like, yo, you want to come on this podcast in New York City? I was like, dude, for sure.
Yeah. Well, so I guess what we're starting with, our title is Wasted Potential. And we always preface this by saying, obviously, you don't have wasted potential in music and acting and what you guys really shown. But what would be that second? What's second to music and acting? And what, if you weren't pursuing music, what would you possibly be doing? Yeah, I know it's kind of a loaded question, so you could take your time.
What's your secret skill that you think that you would be really going after if it hadn't worked out this way, or if paths would have been slightly different?
Skill, dude. I think. Low-key, no, it's not a secret skill, but if I wasn't doing music, I really want to do like cooking or something like that. I feel like that's just so sick because it's also like a form of expression where it's like, it's not just about you taking the food and you're doing the thing. You have to like put your energy into it. You have to put your love into it. And you can tell like when like food like has that special something about it, you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's a lot of fun. You could be so creative and like, I feel like I'd be pretty good at it. Like if I wasn't doing music and I had all this time in my hand, I'd be a chef.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I love it.
Millie, what about you?
See me on the other hand, I think I've already like done everything I'm good at.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it. I'm like, I found my skills. I'm doing them. I'm kind of bad at everything else, but like, don't tell anyone that.
I love that. That's kind of how I am. I try to just
do everything you're good at.
Anything I'm good at, I'll do, but anything else, like I'll just never attempt it.
I kind of just try everything and then just see what hits the fan, or that's the next
hits
phrase
the
is there.
fan.
It all hits the fan. Throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. So that's that's why we're doing this right now.
Yeah.
You know?
So I guess now that we've figured out, what your wasted potential is, I guess we'd love to know how you guys met. I know you guys have been friends for like years and years and years, but I'd love for you guys to tell us the story how you met, and then beyond that, how did you realize that you guys would be working together musically and that would be a good fit?
Yeah. So, I mean, we met in school back in 7th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 7th grade. I had no friends because I'm really popular. So I was kind of just like sitting by myself, having my like emo main character moment at lunch. Spencer was like, hey, can I sit with you? And I was like, yeah, sure. And that was basically it. And then I proceeded to harass Spencer for many years.
Yeah, we would go hang out. We'd go to like PE class together and stuff like that. We had like basically the same schedule, and we would just like hang out all the time.
That's awesome.
And the way we started making a band, Millie like text me one day 'cause she's about to go to NYU, and she's like, "Yo, I'm about to like move in. You want to come like hang out with me before?" And I'm like, "All right, like sure." I haven't seen Millie in a while, and it was like over the summer. I think the summer was like about to end, and I come over and she's like, "Yo, like I really want to make a band." And I'm like, "All right, dude." She's like, "Will you make a band with me?" I was like, all right, dude. And she's like, no, but like seriously, like you like really make a band with me because like I'm not joking. Like I tell people this and they're like, okay, but like will you really do this? And I'm like, yeah, I'll really do it. She's like, no. Like, will you really do this? It was a lot. It was a lot.
No,
like maybe 10 times she asked me that. And I was like,
I had to make sure you were committed to the cause.
No, Scotty and I know about that. We tried to start a band. Remember?
How many times?
We've started so many bands. We have a song out under a band,
and I'm not even on it. That was before I was there.
Yeah, there's a lot of props to you guys because there's so many times where you try to start something and there is so much potential there, but it's hard to like keep it going. So it's really great that you guys. So how long has this project existed for? I know that your first single came out last year, or right in 2021 was Honey.
Yeah, I mean, we started the band like late August. I think that was the first time we ever did anything or even talked about it. And then we started like recording some stuff and like figuring stuff out. And we did like this really random show at like an art gallery somewhere before we had like even done anything. It was very odd. But yeah, and then we released Honey. It was our first song and it did like way too well.
It did awesome.
I don't know why.
Was there
it's crazy. Like Honey's carrying right now.
Was that all just natural exposure? Or were you like, do you have any specific techniques that we're using to market it, or is it really just kind of just took off?
Ask Millie.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, we usually just like post on our TikToks and our social media, and then I don't know why. I think we just really lucked out with Honey specifically from the algorithm. I think also like I've been an actor for many, many years, and whenever an actor does something different, people are like, "Let me see how this fails." So I think people were like checking it out with that, and then like some people liked it apparently. So it got picked up by the algorithm, and now it's just floating around doing its thing.
Yeah, Millie made like a TikTok that got like tons of views, and she put like in the caption, she's like, also pre-save the song. And even if like 0.005% of those people actually click the link, like 0.005% of like 2 million people is like a lot of people. So like we ended up getting like a lot of pre-saves off that, and like it wasn't even about the song. It was just like, I have music.
I did sell my soul for that video.
What was the video about? What was this video?
I was in this horror movie called Hereditary, and whenever I'm like, I need people to actually like be interested in the things I'm doing and check it out, I'm like, it's time, guys. I will make the ultimate sacrifice.
I should make a Hereditary video.
Yeah. So, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
But it worked. It worked. Totally, and then the algorithm just like it picked it up, put it on the release radar, and like some people added it to playlists. Like really the algorithm did like most of the heavy lifting. But it was like that initial like exposure of like getting it out and having like lots of streams in the beginning that also really helped it out. But
so do you think also that could you I guess explain the story behind Honey and tell us I guess maybe what experience led to that song, and then maybe if that experience is relatable and that also added to it, because I know a lot of people like if they can feel like they're the person in that song, it helps a lot. And
I wrote Honey a while ago. I would say I wrote it in like late 2019, early 2020.
Cool.
I kind of was like having my moment figuring out like who I was, who my life is, and a lot of the times when I write songs, it's kind of like writing a diary entry, so like half the time I like don't actually know what it's about till later. So like when I initially wrote Honey, it was basically because I was just like kind of angry at a lot of people and was like, I don't know, like why aren't things working out? Like I just want to like have fun and like do my thing in my imaginary world and have that, but like that's not like how you can really do things a lot of the time, and people are always like no, and I'm like, but what if, guys? And then as I've gotten older and like looking back at that song and like learned a lot more about myself, it's like a lot about like realizing you're gay in a way. Because like especially when you're like raised female, there's this whole like nothing in your life is going to be complete until you're with a man, which is like totally ridiculous. So it was kind of like my fuck you to society's idea of like what I should be. That's an awesome very story. Complex.
And
what I really like about Honey too, or sorry, I don't want to
no, you're good.
Like, it was like even though like the lyrics are like so like I don't know, you can kind of create your own story in your head of like what it means to you, like to pursue and stuff like that, and like I just think it's just really cool, like like the fuck you, I don't need you anymore, you know. A lot of people can relate to that in their own ways in life.
Yeah,
cool.
And leading up to that first single, so from you guys starting the band to, actually sitting down, recording and producing a single, what was going on there? Were you just writing? Were you just like kind of keeping it private before that single came out? Or were you spending a lot of time, getting around gigging and promoting the band?
I mean, when we started, it was really hard because it was like in the midst of the pandemic. Yeah. So like it was kind of hard to do anything in person. And I was in school. I go to NYU for film. So I was like basically dying in a hole somewhere doing school the whole time. And Spencer hadn't quite left yet. So we would meet up a lot and record some things. And we kind of didn't know what we were doing at all. Yeah. So like Honey, the vocals were recorded on a Blue Yeti microphone.
Sick. No way. That blows me away.
If you listen to the stems, you can hear like all this like room echo from like
wow.
We didn't know what we were doing. We had recorded several songs before. We recorded this one song, Roses and Thorns, like way before we did Honey. And like and I was just trying to figure out how to do stuff. I didn't have Logic. I was using like Pro Tools first. And, I didn't really understand like what phantom power was and like I didn't know anything about mixing. So basically when we recorded Honey, we kind of just like had these stems that weren't really that great. like I could show you the stems, you'd be like, wow, this is tragic. But then we sent it to this like mixer and producer. Her name is Alice, and she really just like somehow just put it together like in an unbelievable way. Like she like mixed the guitars, they sounded great, and then she added this like sample in there, and like, and yeah, like the main idea was there with our demo, but she really did a lot of work and made it sound very professional.
I mean, I guess that really speaks to the fact that like if you really have heart in a song and you really feel it, like it doesn't really matter. I guess one thing that I would say is no matter what setup, like there's always going to be excuse for like, I don't have the right mic yet, I don't have the right gear, and the camera's not right, and I don't know how to, like, just do it. Like that, I would have never listened to that and been like, oh, Blue Yeti, that must have been recorded. Like it sounds super professional. And that's really cool to hear though. So I want to kind of touch on this. So Millie, do you mainly do the songwriting in terms of the lyrics and stuff? And then do you bring those to Spencer with a melody, or does Spencer help with the melody and the production on it? Like, what's your process for working together on something?
Usually I'll write a song and it has like the melody set and like the bass chords. Then I'll like voice memo it to Spencer at like 4 a.m. when I'm done writing it. And
That's
be like,
great.
hey, I wrote this, bud. And it's probably really annoying because like I am not that great at like playing instruments. I do not know why. I have like the worst hand-eye coordination of a human being in the world. So like I play the ukulele and that's like how I write all my music. Cool. But it's like the same strumming pattern the whole time. So like for everything, you know, it works for me.
It works. It gets the idea across.
But yeah, so I usually write that. Yeah. It has all the bass chords, and then Spencer will like give it some more like technical pizzazz.
I'll just take like, she'll have the chords. It'll be like 3 chords, and then they'll repeat. And the chord structure is actually so interesting because Millie doesn't like, she's not like trained to know like music theory. And like usually when you hear somebody who writes a song, they just do the same 3 chords repeating, but the chords move around in this really interesting way. And like, they're actually very cool. So I'll just like, I'll take them and like, I'll add some cool rhythms to them. Cause like I started playing drums. So I mainly, even when I play guitar, I think in rhythms. So I'm kind of like, what would the drums do? And then I'm kind of like, okay, like where do I want the breaks to be? Where do I want the pauses? Like, you know, stuff like that. And like that can kind of bring like a lot of like life to the song. And then I also like kind of arrange it. So we build the instruments together. Like we have this new song coming out. It's called Blue Green that has violins. We have Days Go By that Augie recorded sax on, like just getting a bunch of like crazy instruments in there. And like, we have this really crazy instrument called a Q chord, which is like this like thing really has it. And it's like so you slide it and you press a chord. It's like,
it's like kind of like the worst instrument. It's like from the 80s based off this other thing called the omnichord. And they made the keyboard as like an easier version of it. And it's basically like a ready play guitar, but it's like not a guitar at all. It's very odd. You like just hit a button and it plays the chord.
But then you can do this, the slidey thing is really cool. And there's like a ton of different sounds that are like, you would never get those on like, like a set.
That's awesome.
And it's very weird. I found it because Rebecca Sugar, who like created Steven Universe and like wrote a lot of the music for Adventure Time, uses an omnichord, and those are impossible to find anymore because they like don't make either the omnichord or the Q chord anymore. So like finding one is impossible. But I was like, I need to see this because like cartoon music is like where all my inspiration came from, which is like kind of like different than most people, I think. But you know,
it's really cool.
The vibes.
Millie loves Rebecca Sugar. Like she'll like talk about her all the time, and like it sounds very similar too. Like if you've listened to like any of the Adventure Time soundtrack stuff, like the instrumentation, if like Millie were to do it like all by herself, it's just like the omnichord and the ukulele. Like it sounds very similar, you know?
Yeah, dude. But that's what makes it so unique, you know, because you have all those universes just kind of colliding. Like you have the singer-songwriter vibe. You have like these cool sounds that are going on that people are like, what? Like that's some of my favorite thing about producing is putting something in there that's like, if someone weren't listening for it, maybe they wouldn't directly point it out. But then you point it out to them and it's like the coolest thing ever. And they can't really tell you what it is, but like these little like ear candy things.
And now that things are starting to open up, like you said, you know, when you started, obviously the pandemic is not going to allow you to, you know, be walking, you know, playing your band all the time. But now that things are really starting to get back to normal and all the clubs are open up now, basically, you know, knock on wood. Besides, you know, I know you have the new single that just came out, Following Leica. But besides, you know, making new music, putting out new singles, how are you balancing, you know, being able to go play out now with having to do is it like a 50-50 split? How are you balancing all of this stuff
it's a lot
at the same time?
You know, That is the question. We're still trying to like figure out like live shows, and we have like a lot of music. Like I've written a lot of music, so we definitely have like the content for it. But
yeah, we could play like hour-long shows and like really long sets. But basically, we have this new EP that's coming out, and our plan, like what I want to do is like get this EP out and like promote the hell out of it, and then it should be out like around like Mayish, June, like that kind of time. Cool. And then once that's out, we're gonna just like try and tour it if we can, like just go around to people and be like, yo, we're just gonna play our EP and like maybe a couple other songs, like, yeah, because it'd be a good like like half an hour set ish kind of thing, like if we add a couple more songs and like just go out and play and stuff like that,
So in the start, is there an artist that like would be the dream like to open for that artist? Is there someone that you would love to tour with, or?
I would love to tour with Cave Town.
Yeah, I
would cry. I love all their music, and I feel like it's like similar enough that it would work. But
have you reached out to them?
Anyone at this point.
Francis Forever.
Francis
John
Forever
Mayer.
would be cool.
John Mayer, yeah.
He's so not cool.
No, I don't have.
We can dream, right?
What?
So he's not gonna let us open, but we can dream.
Hey, I mean,
you never know.
Enough ambition and enough speed on stage. If you get up there quick enough.
Have you just like
buy tickets, bring your own little Bose speaker?
I mean, that'd be a great story. Like, say that worked. That'd be an amazing story of like how you got your band going off the ground. Couldn't you see that in like one of those inspirational TikToks?
Just don't do it for like Adam Levine's concert. You ever see that video?
Yeah, where he attacked.
Oh my God, yeah, where you like push his stand.
Yeah.
I give him a break though. You're on stage and you like he doesn't know what's going on.
His
all of a
eyes
sudden
are
he's just being
closed.
like grabbed. I wouldn't want to like.
And he's just like, ugh.
I give him credit. I mean, that was probably him just trying to be entertaining. The
yeah,
part.
yeah.
But like, I don't blame him. Everyone got mad at him, like he hates his fans. But I'm like, you're on stage. Someone comes up, just grabs on you. Your gut reaction is probably not going to be like, oh hi.
Well, yeah, I like to think of it like in real life, if someone just came up to you and was like, hey,
are you
like,
Augie?
No, don't touch me.
Are you that saxophone?
Spencer did that. I had to push him off of me. It was awful. It's actually funny. I a couple things. One, I want to talk about how me and you met, Spencer, because I think it's a really funny story. I was one day sitting with my roommate and I'm scrolling on TikTok, and like I think I'd seen your page a couple times, and like I saw one video in particular, and you were like so excited. Like you were like you were about to play something on guitar. Like you hadn't done anything yet. But like I was so committed because of how committed you were. Like he was on camera and he's like, dude, like you're not gonna believe this. I just learned this new thing. It's crazy. Like watch. And then you just go over and you just like play this thing. And I was like, oh, that's sick. So I follow him, right? And then like I want to say 10 minutes later, like me and Martin, my roommate, were like, oh, let's go grab dinner. And we start walking, and I like look up, and in Washington Square Park is
just
Spencer.
right there.
Spencer right there, like playing guitar in
What are the
real
odds
life.
of that?
I don't know. It was so funny though. And then that's kind of how we met. I think Millie, I think you were there too. Like Spencer.
I probably was.
You were. It was with Jonah. You were there. She was there. And I was like, Millie, come walk around with me. And she's like, no, I want to sit here. And I was like, okay, well, I want to walk around. Like, it's so nice out. And I walked around and I saw these guys who were busking, and they had a guitar just laying on the floor. And I was just like, yo, like, can I play guitar? And then they were like, our guitarist is like I don't know. They were like, they swapped instruments or something like that. And I was like, okay. And they were like, okay, sure. So I went and I picked it up. And I was like playing really badly. The guitar was out of tune because it was like high out. And these guys were like swapped instruments. I'm like, what do you guys want to play? And like, we don't play songs, dude. We just play. And I was like, okay. And we were just like, I don't know. It was so bad. And then I saw Augie watching me play, and I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, I need to put this down. So I was like, yo, you're Augie. And he's like, yo, you're Spencer. And I was like, how do you know who I am? I know who you are, you know?
It's like the Spider-Man. We're just all pointing. No, but that was really funny. And then like from that, I think there was one time we hung out in Berkeley, and then we hung out to record for that song coming out.
Yeah. And I stole your guitar strap.
Yeah. This guy comes over, and I graciously
not was it Harry Styles guitar?
No, Shawn Mendes. But I graciously
Mendes.
lend him a strap, and what does he do? He steals it.
Not very nice of you,
No,
Spencer.
not a nice guy.
It was an accident, bro.
Millie, don't work with this guy. He's gonna steal your lyrics and run with that.
Well, I have a couple questions because we talked about the band and we're gonna go more on that, of course. But I want to go back individually, both of you, how you got started. But we went back to how you guys met each other. But going, even before that, what was your first like foray into entertainment? And was your family supportive of it? Where are you from? All that kind of stuff. I guess we'll go left to right. So Spencer, what about you?
Like when we started, like if my family was supporting it, like I'm sure they always were, but like before it started, like before you have any music out, I was really nervous. I was like, yo, what if our first song, like nobody listens to it, nobody cares, and then it's like I was so nervous about that, and like we had been recording stuff for a while. We did this one show out in like this art gallery, and that was kind of cool. And that's when I feel like we really found our groove, because we did that and like we learned all the songs and stuff like that, and like they were good. They were all like really solid songs. I was like, these just have so much potential. The melodies are so hooky and catchy, and the chords are like cool, and it just flows so naturally. I was like, this is great. So we tried recording some stuff, and like it was just kind of like a challenge of like me not knowing how to do it, and like we were kind of just like didn't really know how to do anything, and like you don't want to just like start paying money to people to like get recording things out, like making sure you have like a solid basis or whatever. But eventually we recorded Honey, and we got that out, and that was just like, that was really sick.
You were a drummer though originally, right, Spencer?
Yeah, I played drums on like all the AfterxClass songs except the most recent one.
That's awesome.
So when did you first start playing drums?
I started 5 years ago.
Because of me.
Yeah, it was actually because of me.
Wow.
We really took me to see School of Rock, and I saw School of Rock, and I was like, wow, these guys are so cool.
Yep.
And it was just so exciting. So I was like, I need to get drum lessons. So I started getting drum lessons in 2016, like early January. And I was really bad, like everybody is when they start out, but I just did it for a really long time. And then over summer camp, I picked up guitar. It was at Frenchwoods, and it was just like my guitar, my counselor, like in the bunk, played it, and I was like, oh, that's sick. And he showed me like 2-3 chords, and I was like, wow, this is sick. And he's like, yeah, like just teach yourself on YouTube. Like, so as soon as camp ended, I begged my mom to get me a guitar, and we got like the worst Yamaha acoustic like money could buy. And I was like, fire, this is it. And I just like would go on YouTube and like teach myself how to play guitar.
Is your family musical?
My mom is like a jewelry designer, so she does like arts, and my grandmother was a ballet dancer. She's a prima ballerina for the New York City Ballet. She's like,
did your mom design this necklace? Because I think you and your brother both have that, right?
Yeah. She designs like all the jewelry I wear.
That's so cool.
She gives Millie jewelry sometimes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we wear AfterxClass stuff. Yeah,
I pierced Spencer's ear.
Oh, you did? How did you do it? With a gun or with an actual like?
I mean, my friend did it. I just like kind of held Spencer's hand and like made him do it because I thought it would be funny. He was speaking so loudly the whole time.
They just took a lighter and they like lit like a thing, and they were just like, all right, here you go. And I was like, are you sure?
Yeah, but it's fine. So
and then the first time she like pushed it in, and then it like and then like I was like, ow, and she's like, oh wait, that wasn't a good spot. I was like, oh, it didn't go through.
You just have a damaged ear in the wrong spot.
That's hilarious.
No, it's fine. It healed nicely. So
it does look nice. A thank you is in order, Spencer. A thank you is in order.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's why I only have 1 year. After the first year, I was like, no way. I'm not getting another year.
Yeah, Spencer's like that. And I've had like 11 piercings in my life.
Oh my Lord.
Were they
very high pain tolerance?
Were they mostly done by professionals, Millie, or was it also like friends?
Also you lit a needle on fire?
Yeah, Millie, you do in the back. Let me do it in the bathroom.
Yeah, but when you get done with a professional, it's like I do them 3 in one go. So like, I just get it all over with.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Like bigger needles. It was scary, so you couldn't do it.
I know I could not do it.
So wait, Spencer, so your musical journey is pretty early, I guess, isn't it? Like it's I'm still it's starting out. I've only been playing guitar for three years and a couple months. Like that's
going
awesome.
to Berkeley, especially because now I switched my principal instrument to guitar. Like people have been playing 8 years, 10 years, 15 years. Like there's some really, really talented like cats out there. And it's like, yo, how do you even like compare? You know what I mean? But what I think is really cool about music is like you really don't have to be that good to make good music. Like obviously being technically like
the Beatles,
exactly like Dominic Fike is like he's an amazing rapper and whatever. Like I think like he's okay at guitar. He's like everybody at Berkeley could smoke Dominic Fike at guitar, but he still makes music that like affects people. You know what I mean? Like
where are you from originally? Where'd you grow up?
I'm from Manhattan. I'm from New York City.
Okay, so you've always been in New York. So what do you think about? I mean, Boston's definitely a smaller city, but it's a completely different vibe. What do you think about, after living in Manhattan your whole life? What do you think about Boston?
It's like decaf, New York.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, yeah,
it's like fine.
That's
It's
accurate.
like a suburb. All the buildings are like less than 5 stories high. It's like, what is this?
I know when I go home, because my family lives in central New York, which is like, there's nothing there. There's like literally nothing. And I go, and it's like, I'm surprised at the buildings. I always get like, if I almost feel claustrophobic because I'm so used to the big buildings. There's something about little buildings. I'm like, we could go taller. We could go taller than this.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna ask some of the same questions to you, Millie, because I think knowing how you guys came together, first knowing how you guys came to be, I guess, by yourselves is important to how you came together. So from what we've seen, you've originally grew up in Tampa for until you were 10. So what was that like? And how much were you doing in terms of acting and music? And when did your parents decide, hey, we gotta move to New York?
Did you start as an actor or as a singer?
Kind of a mix of both, I would say. I started singing lessons when I was 3 because my older sister, she's also an actor and singer. So I saw her doing it and I basically gaslit my parents into letting me do it.
Me too.
And I was doing voice lessons when I was 3. And then when I was around 7 or 8, I was in this singing and dancing group, but I could not dance, still cannot dance, but I was just doing the singing stuff. And then I was in a community theater production of Annie where I played orphan number 3 and I walked across the stage once.
There you
which
go.
My sister was the girl boss of the show. We get it. Okay. But we eventually went to this summer camp in New Jersey that my mom was if you pay for it, you can go. So we performed all around Florida and raised a bunch of money so we could go to this camp, and we got a manager there. And then I did my first audition, which was for Matilda, and I got in it. And then I've been doing acting since then. So very much falling into things and things just lucking out, right time, right place type of vibes. And then I didn't start actually pursuing music versus musical theater type stuff until 2018, I would say. I was in this film and it blew up and it was very overwhelming for me. So to kind of deal with all that, I started to teach myself how to play the ukulele so I could play all the Steven Universe songs and the Adventure Time songs. And then eventually I was noticing the structures, and I used to write poetry a lot. So I was I could probably just do this. And in 2018, 2019, I started writing music, and then I was I want to actually do something with this. And so then I forced Spencer to do a band with me.
That's awesome, though.
How old were you when you auditioned for Matilda?
I was 9 turning 10.
And so at that age, do you even really, when you get called and they're we want you, do you really have, how do you, I can't imagine processing that big leap going on to Broadway. What was your experience as someone that young saying oh, I made it now. I'm on, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you go
people for their whole life who try to get on Broadway.
Yeah. And it's just I can't imagine having to process that and really understand what was going on. Did you really grasp how big of a step that was at that age?
I don't think I realized how unlikely it was because of how young I was. I definitely didn't think I would get in because it was my first audition for anything. And they always tell you that you're going to audition 500 times before anything happens. So that was highly unlikely. But I feel I did understand the pressure of it all as a kid.
Yeah.
Because if you mess up, as the character I was, you're on stage 90% of the time. You can't mess up. And I had a broken arm throughout all of the rehearsals. So I had to learn all the dances by watching them.
Wow.
A bunch of crazy stuff. But, it worked out. Child me was very girl bossy. And now I have to live up to that, which is really rude to me.
So I will say the one annoying part is she does a perfect British accent. So she could just go and just talk British. I'm okay.
Is it I know, because when you would sing in Matilda, you would sing with a British accent, which I know that's a specific thing, is people want to hear the accent.
Yeah.
But that's much harder than just speaking with a British accent, right?
Yeah, I would say something singing with a British accent, it it isn't always as easy. Like there's a lot of like British people that sing in an American accent for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But like there's some things like certain vowel sounds and stuff like that and tonalities that are easier to sing in a British accent. So I kind of just like steal some of those and like hope for the best. But yeah, my singing voice is very much exactly like my speaking voice in real life. So it was definitely a journey. It was a lot of practice for many months.
So was that audition in Florida, or was it like, we're going to fly to New York to do this audition, and then you got it, and then, all right, we're going to move to New York? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah, it was kind of the second one.
Okay.
It kind of lucked out because my sister was also auditioning for a show at the same time, and she actually got in it as well. So
Great.
she was doing like How the Grinch Stole Christmas in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, wow.
Same year I was doing Matilda. So because my sister was going to be up here, we would have to move anyways, which really worked out because once you got to like a certain round of the auditions, they were like, we only want people based in New York, because they were like, we don't want to like uproot anyone's life too much. And my mom was like, I can work from anywhere.
Yeah.
So we'll just move. So I kind of lucked out. My parents are always very supportive of me and like
great.
Whatever I want to do, which I'm very lucky for.
Now, how long was the run of Matilda?
I was in the show for around 18 months.
Wow.
And I was the longest of the Broadway Matildas.
Now, do you remember, as being a kid, like 18 months of constant work like that? That's really tiring. Were you sad because it's like you're not doing the show anymore, or is there kind of a relief because it's like I can relax and pursue some other stuff?
I mean, I think I was mostly sad that it was ending, because I had been in the show for like, when you're 10 and you're in something for a year, that's 10% of your life.
Yeah.
So like, it was a huge part of my life when I was a kid. And now I'm like 19. I left the show when I was 11. So I'm almost like 10 years out, which is like kind of crazy to think about. But it was definitely like a wild experience that I can barely remember because I was 10. But, that's what happens. Who can remember anything from when they were 10?
Right when that show ended, were you immediately pursuing like, I want to go back and to do more theater stuff, or you're like you actively trying to do more stuff on the screen?
I was doing a mix of both. I was auditioning for like basically anything that would come my way. And I was in an off-Broadway production of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown when we were in 8th grade, which was like kind of crazy. So basically like the whole time me and Spencer were in school together, I was barely ever there.
Yep.
So I'd just be like gone for like months at the time doing things. But, I just always like to do what I want to do, and everything else will just work out, or I'll make it work out or figure it out.
It's kind of the attitude you have to have.
Yeah.
It's just kind of do what you want to do and just, take it as it comes.
Exactly.
If you think about it too much, which I'm very guilty of,
Yeah.
it starts to make things a little bit too difficult. You kind of go for it.
Yeah.
Hope for the best.
100%.
I know that's how you do your thing.
I just ignore most people and just keep,
including me.
Yeah, ignore Scotty. Just don't listen to that guy, basically.
That's career advice. If I tell you to do something, do the opposite.
Ignore that guy.
Ironically, that's worked out.
I want to jump back for a second. You had said that you really started writing songs. So a lot of people know you from Hereditary, and I'll say it. That's my favorite horror movie by far.
I've heard so many times.
This is the movie I've seen the most times out of any movie.
Really?
Actually, yeah. No, I've seen it so many times because it's such a great movie. But
I don't think Spencer's ever watched it.
Spencer, are you crazy? You ever?
It's so scary, bro. What do you mean?
No,
Am I crazy?
I understand. I understand because you're friends. I'll pull back on that one. I understand because you're friends.
No, I just listen. I just don't watch scary movies. I don't watch any. Did I sit down and try and watch it like a good friend?
Wait, how long did you get through it? Because that's a big.
I watched till she got her head cut off, right? And then once all like the spooky stuff started happening, like the friend pulled up to the car or the mom's car or something like that, and then she was like bugging out and like I don't even know what was going on, but I just got really.
And I guess I want to also ask, because you're saying how awful that was for you as a watcher, but like, what type of effect did that have on you? Like being in a role like that at such a young age, and then like, okay, so there's that positive, you which is super inspiring, that to take something that might have been, a great opportunity, but might have caused some trauma for you, and turning that into, let me write something down and let me get my feelings out. But what was there some sort of, tough side effects associated with being in such a role like that?
Yeah, because I mean, I know a set isn't necessarily as scary as the movie, but there's got to be some effect of being in a horror movie.
I would say for me, like being in the film was a lot of fun. Nothing was really that like terrifying for me. I got to do my own stunt and everything like that, so that was very entertaining. I would say like the only thing that ever creeped me out was like cutting the bird's head off, because like I think any sane person would be a little disturbed by
that. Was a taxidermy bird, right? Like a real bird?
Yeah, and I had to do it like 15 times.
Wow.
And there was like a toothpick in it, so it like looked like a bone, and it was like a little too realistic for me. And I was like, this is good. I'm good, guys. This is good. But yeah, I wouldn't say like doing the film itself ever bothered me, but when it blew up, all of the people that saw the movie were kind of like not great, especially to me. And I still get like death threats and hate comments like almost every day.
That's awful.
Like since 2018. So you just like kind of get used to it, and there are times where it can be really overwhelming. But that's why I do music, because that homie's got to go somewhere.
That's right.
I mean, the internet, people are just awful sometimes. Just like
I know,
like it amazes me how people they like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take time out of my day, and I'm just gonna be mean, just for no reason.
Yeah,
I can't. You know what?
I feel like people don't realize that there's somebody like actually reading that. You know what I mean? They just say it, and like, especially if the creator is like really big, they'll be like, "Oh, like
they'll never
not
see
actually."
it. Yeah,
and we always do, man. We always do.
Everyone,
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the next part of what we'd like to talk about. You guys are both pretty successful on social media and on TikTok. I guess we'll start with Spencer now. When did you really start pursuing, I guess, TikTok and Instagram, and when did you what are some, like, because I know I've faced some like, listen, hardships, I'll say. But no, I know you'll make fun of me. But like whenever you're trying to do something different and cool, people are always going to be, jabbing at it. But what was that process, and what made you decide, I really got to start showing myself on TikTok and stuff?
Well, you're always like, I feel like whenever you're going to start posting something, you're like, oh, like my friends are going to judge me or something like that.
100%, yeah.
Because when you try and make content for like strangers, you don't want the people you actually know seeing.
Yeah.
Which is why I think TikTok was really cool for me, because I downloaded it and like nobody I knew followed it. Like maybe like 3 people I knew, like some close friends from school or something like that. And I was like, you know what? Like,
when did you start actually? When
it was right when COVID hit. It was right when COVID hit. March, everything shut down and school was all online. And so I would just sit at home and I would just play guitar, and then I had nothing to do. And I was like, okay, my friends told me to download TikTok. Like, I might as well check this out.
Yeah.
And I'm just scrolling through it, and I'm like, okay, like I'll just like take a video of me playing guitar, like whatever. And I did one video, did it terribly, whatever. But I was like, this is like cool, And like I just slowly kind of started to figure out. I saw like what worked and what didn't work, and like. And I was just like, I'm just going to do this like once every day and just like see what happens. Like I never like had the idea like, oh, I'm going to be like a famous TikTok creator. I was just like, I'm just going to like post videos of me playing guitar to like watch myself like get better. And then like, you'll have one video that gets like 100,000 views and you'll be like, whoa, like that's so cool. And then you'll like do it and like they won't do so well. And another one will do well and you'll be like, oh wow, this is like, and then you'll start to build like a following and like people will like respond on comment on multiple videos. I'm like, hey, I recognize you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's crazy. And then I was just taking videos of myself playing guitar almost for myself to like see my progress and stuff like that. But after like a couple months, I was like, okay, this is cool. I'm just going to keep doing this,
When was that first video that you posted where it really hit? Like you said, the first one didn't do very well. Like when was that point where you're like, wow, was it like a slow gradual thing, or was it just, oh, I am just a successful TikToker?
It was definitely a slow. I know there are people I know who like go to my school who have like more followers than me, because they'll have like one video that gets like 10 million views and they'll get hundreds of thousands of followers. But that doesn't mean that they have the engagement. And I feel like what was kind of cool about me blowing up like really slowly was that I built like a solid fan base to the point where like I don't have as many followers as like other creators do, but I have like more like consistent people who like come back and so the first video, it took me like, I think it was in like April, maybe. It took me like 3 or 4 videos to have one that got 100,000, and then the other ones like, got like a couple thousand, but like 1,000 views for me was crazy. I was like, what, 1,000 views? Like that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I remember Spencer would be like, my video got 2,000 views, and I'd be like, that's very cool, bud.
Keep working, pal.
That's you. That's this asshole.
No, that's not me.
I get like,
Well, no,
I'm kidding.
No, I'm annoyed. I'm perpetually annoyed at Scotty because Scotty was making Instagram videos for like a year, and the year he was making Instagram videos was when it was before Reels, and it was right when they were in that transitional period where like normal videos just didn't do well. Like I had a whole year where I sat at the same amount of followers posting videos.
Yep.
Because Instagram was like the worst, and that's when he was
I did it for 10 months, and I posted 84 videos in the span of 10 months, which I mean, they're only minute-long videos, so
And then
it's not
he
like I'm
gave up.
making. And then I did that,
and gave up.
and I don't have a drum kit in New York.
He's a drummer.
I'm a drummer.
Yeah.
So I don't have a drum kit in New York. So the stuff that I would make would be like producer stuff, but I'm also like ridiculous. And so the thing I really like to do I would just do like, I would lay in bed and I'd be like, what if I did a video where I played the VeggieTales theme on an electric drum kit with a carrot and a cucumber? Like, it was just stupid stuff. It was just ridiculous, but it was fun as hell to make. And they got no traction. And then I went home and I made like a traditional drum video, and it did really well for me.
And then he gave up.
Like I went to my parents' house. That's the only place I could.
Those other videos would do so well on TikTok.
I know, that's what I keep telling him.
That's TikTok content.
I've posted
TikTok and Instagram content's so different.
Well, I
It's like-
posted them on TikTok after, and they would get like
Gotta repost
zero.
it.
I think I just
Dude,
have to repost every
the
single one.
Miss Jackson video
Yeah.
did 0 on TikTok. The first time I posted that video, got like sorry, Spencer. It got like 2,000 views. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm fucking. I'm just joking.
views.
No.
the saxophone.
I'm kidding. It didn't do very well, and then like months later in June, I reposted it, and then it did insanely well. But like, there's that thing with TikTok that sometimes it's like, not right now, pal.
Well,
Good try.
I did what I really liked making for a year, and then I went to my parents' house because the pandemic happened, and they had my drum kit there, and I made like a traditional drum video, which are fun to make once in a while. But for me, I like to do just stupider stuff. Like I could make a video where it's like, oh, that's a good drum cover, or I could do something that's not very good, but I think is funny, and I'd rather do that. But the drum videos did well, and I was like, and then I came back to New York, and I was like, well, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna go back to making my producing videos, and they're not gonna do well, and then they kind of fell off, and now we're here.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
What I find with stuff like that is just funny. Like on TikTok, like if I make like a goofy, silly video where I'm just like, like I'm like a teacher.
You mean
like,
all your videos?
Yeah, no, not like 50% of my content is like goofy, silly stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
like 55, I'd say. But on Instagram, like they like the more serious stuff. Like if I'm playing like a guitar cover or something like that, or like people like that stuff more on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Dude,
Absolutely.
start going on TikTok.
I reposted like 5 of them, and they all got, I think, less than 10 views. And I was like, this is cruel. This is just a sick joke.
It's consistency.
I did one video that I swore was going to get like at least 100 views. And it was, I found out that if you hold water in your mouth and then spit it, it makes the sound of like a drum on my bathtub. And so I spit the water out to do the drum roll from the 20th Century Fox theme, to do the bump, 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 bump. And then I had an electric keyboard on the side of my bathtub, and I went, I was like, this is perfect for TikTok. And it got like 20 views. I was like, come on.
I'm gonna do
the same thing. No, do the same thing. Do the same thing on a fresh account.
Yeah.
And watch. I'll tell you this. If you posted that and put your face over it on a different account, that same video, it would do incredibly well. That's the point where I quit everything.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Hockey Bello?
But I guess, yeah, so we found out, I guess, a bit about your kind of TikTok journey. I guess quickly, because we'll ask both of you this, what are some of the really positive things that you've, found from posting all the time? And then what are some parts that you wish could be better?
Positive parts, For me is like getting cool comments and people being like, "Oh wow, like you're so good at guitar." I'm like, like thank you, I guess. I don't think people realize whatever, but like stuff like that is really cool. And like sometimes, especially at Berkeley, because it's a music school and my content's geared towards musicians.
Of course.
Like I'll have like lots of people come up to me and be like, "Oh my gosh, like I know you. You're like that guy who like makes TikTok videos." And like that's really cool. I think like it's really cool to like be known, and like I'll get like brand deals. Like like I know you guys like understand that. Like it's really cool. But I think some of the bad parts about it is like you're like known as like a TikToker, and it's like, damn, bro. Like,
I love how you think that's the bad part. You're such a blessing.
No. I get hate comments. Nowhere near Millie's hate comments.
People just really love to want to see me fail. It's like, kind of a journey. I mean, I downloaded TikTok as a joke with my friend in 2018, and we both had private accounts where we only followed each other. We just make dumb videos for each other to see. And then I would like scroll through TikTok, and I was like, oh, this was like way back when like cosplay TikTok was like the only thing you could find on TikTok practically. And I was like, this shit slaps. This is mad entertaining. So I like started posting my own like cringy ass videos, and they like kind of blew up, and then they just like continued blowing up, and like I've like just had like a few videos that like got like couple million views and crazy stuff like that. And I've made a few great like mutuals that I'm friends with. And like I've met a lot of people through TikTok, and like I've had a lot of cool like opportunities where like I got free tickets to like an Ash Nico concert because like she saw a TikTok and someone I knew was like doing her makeup.
Wow.
And,
wow.
Like super crazy and stuff like that. So like I would say like TikTok is really great because it's like a good way to like know that you're not alone and there's people like you and there's like communities and you can make a lot of friends. And the bad thing about TikTok is it's anonymous. Like it's so easy to be anonymous on TikTok that people have like a lot of the audacity to like say like the most crazy things. Like I get comments all the time being like, if I was your parent, I would kill myself, or like you should die, and like you're the most like disgusting thing on the planet. And I'll just be like, thanks guys. Or they'll be like, Jesus will find you. And I'm like, I'm like, thank you guys. This is so silly and goofy. But yeah, I used to care a lot about what I posted on TikTok, but then I was like, people are going to hate me anyways, whether I do something like professional or just like some weird ass video that I want to make because I think it's funny.
Terrible.
Yeah, I made like recently I made this TikTok because like I like change my hair a lot, and I may or may not have burned all my hair off with bleach. So I had to like cut like most of my hair off.
I did that
and
once.
I put it in a bowl. It happens. It happens to everyone. It's normal. I did dye my hair 26 times in a year.
Wow.
So that's probably why. I don't know why it hadn't happened sooner.
I don't think hair that hair I don't think will hold up to that.
That'll do
it. And like I had cut like my hair, and I like sometimes cut my friend's hair for them. And so like I had a bowl of hair in my bathroom, and then I was like, this will be really funny to just film me cutting off my hair and putting it into this bowl. And it got like 500K views. And then I made one where I was like sitting on the couch with my friend, and there's like a hair, and I was like, dude, film this. This is gonna be so funny. And I was like, oh, a hair. And then I like went to my bathroom and put it in the hair bowl. And for some reason people thought that was very entertaining. So it got like almost 1 million views for no reason. And I'm like, guys, this is just my insanity. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, TikTok is weird. It's very odd. Never the videos you actually care about do well.
That's
you have
always
to
how
like
it
not
is.
care and just like spam post something that you're like, haha, this is chill. And then it will do well. So like don't care, I guess. I don't know.
No, I agree with that. Like my TikTok, I feel like is my kind of like my throwaway account. Like there's times I'll just throw something on and I'm like, I hope
try it, see what happens.
Because like I find it so bizarre that like you can on TikTok you could have so many followers, but it can also mean so little in certain pockets. Like, sure, maybe you have a lot of followers, but like the algorithm is so like
because that's
such a grip on it.
That's the thing about TikTok. Like in your circumstance, TikTok knows that people want to see saxophone. Yeah. They know that so well. And so like they know they're like they can because they have video analyzing technology. They know what's in an image.
That's so weird.
Which is crazy. It's not even like some like tinfoil hat conspiracy. Like it's literally just it's like they have that technology. So like TikTok knows that they can sometimes box you in a way because they're like, this is what the people wanted, which means it's what they want, which means that they don't want anything else.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a win-lose, but you kind of have to break
Millie,
through.
you're gonna have to keep cutting your hair and putting it in.
I know, guys. I know, I'm like, I don't have much hair left to cut, guys. But yeah, it's a journey. I think like if you look at my TikTok, like every video I have like a different hair color. I think like the most I've ever posted with the same hair color is like 3 videos.
That's great though. That's fun. Keep it fresh, you know?
Yeah, it's for the vibes.
I have a quick question for both of you guys because the way I am is there's a lot of times where someone will tell me, like maybe I'll get a hate comment about, you know, hey, your tone or hey, your sound or anything. Or maybe I'll have a teacher or a family member who's like,
Or a
you know,
podcast host.
or a podcast host who just doubts you. And they're like, you know, hey,
Yeah.
this isn't going to work for you. And this isn't, you know, oh, like you're really doing that. And for me, that's like the biggest motivator for me because someone tells me like, hey, you could never do this. And wherever this was, I'm going to try to do like this. Like, I'm going to try to make sure that whatever they thought was the best that I couldn't do,
Yeah.
I'm way beyond that. Like, does that ever motivate you seeing like a hate comment or hearing from people that say you can't?
I would say for me, not really.
Mhm.
I feel like I've just gotten like so almost desensitized to it at this point
Of course.
that like it phases me, but like I don't like genuinely take anything from it except being like, ouch, dude, that was kind of rude.
Mhm.
But I would say for me, I very much go through life with the motto, if like one person likes it, then I've like completed my job.
I like that.
Because like ultimately, especially with music, like I never thought I'd actually do it.
Mhm.
And I never thought it would be something that could be possible. And I never thought anyone would see it or like it. So like the fact that even one person has listened to it besides me is like kind of wild. So I kind of just
Yeah.
like hold that. And it's like so easy to get distracted by like numbers. But
Yeah.
Of course.
like I always like to like imagine someone sitting in my living room. So like if it's like got like 100 streams, I'll just be like, okay, so imagine 100 people in your bedroom right now.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
And it helps like actually like perceive what that actually means because it's so easy to become desensitized to numbers.
I know.
Yeah.
And so you forget.
The thing I'm curious about, like after having all the success from TikTok, now Millie, you're in film school. Spencer, you're in music school. How is that experience of doing well publicly in what you're going to college for? Does that impact like the relationships you have with people? Are people, you know, doubtful, you know, maybe, you know, they want to be your friend, but maybe it's more of like, because I know you have that issue where you think, oh, well, maybe it's this because this person saw me on TikTok and now they think I'm cool, or you know, having a traditional acting experience. You think do you have that like issue with anybody where you're a little bit guarded because you don't want to, you know, let someone be your friend who's just there for clout, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this sort of thing for a long time, so I just like don't trust people unless like they give me a reason to trust them. And also like in film school, I refuse to acknowledge that I've ever acted before in my life. And like I've had like experiences where like I had to be in a film because like an actor called out sick or like I like was in quarantine because like COVID exposure. And then I've had teachers be like, you should really consider acting. And I'd be like, thank you. I've never thought of that ever. And I just kind of like never acknowledge it. So people will be like, weren't you in that movie? Like my classmates, and they'll be like, oh, like I just watched your movie. And I'll be like, what movie? I've never seen a movie in my life.
I love that.
But you know, I just like to tease people.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining.
That's fun.
Definitely. At Berkeley, I feel like sometimes people I'm not gonna say like they like shit talk me, but I feel like low key a little bit. It's a little bit of both because like I'm doing like TikToks and it's like, okay, it's cool. And like my music is doing well. And it's like, for me, I feel like I'm being like very successful. I'm doing what I need to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like people can be kind of jealous of that a little bit. And they'll be like, oh, like this guy's dumb. He just makes like silly videos and plays guitar and like whatever. And it's like, yeah, but like, that's fine. Like, I know that's what I'm doing. Like, I think it's cool and it's working. You know what I mean? Like, and our music is like doing well and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of people, especially people at music school, they'll just sit there and they'll just grind jazz all day. And they'll just be like crazy players who can play like circles around me. But it's like, at the end of the day, does it really matter? You know what I mean? Like if nobody sees, like I remember I saw a clip of you in a podcast. I talk about this all the time with like all my friends, where it's like, if you should spend every hour you practice, an hour you should like spend on social media and showing people that you practice. Because if you don't like if you're a great player, but nobody knows, like, are you really a great player? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's like if a tree falls in a forest,
Exactly.
nobody can really fall.
And musicians are also just like incredibly vibey. I say this, I feel like in every episode I've gone on a tangent about like trashing musicians, but like I played drums since I was 5, I think. And so I like played drums my whole life. And so I've experienced musicians, you know, in small towns in the city. And I always just get new evidence towards my hatred for musicians.
Yeah.
Because like it is that situation where like it's just no matter what, you could literally be doing nothing and a musician will find a way to be like, fuck that guy. Like, I don't like him, you know, like, let's see, you know, he can't hang. He can't hang.
As soon as you have, but it's also good to keep in mind though, like most of the people who are talking, it's like as soon as there's anyone, right? And I'm going to say this, as soon as there's anyone saying anything negatively, unless you've really done something bad and you're pursuing your passion, then you are on the right track in terms of you are now in somebody's eyes, and maybe they're going to talk about this and that. But your goal is to get in front of people, and you've gotten in front of that person. You probably got in front of more people who actually like what you're doing. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to separate yourself from that one person who's like making fun of your stuff, or the other people who you feel like you're talking behind your back. But it's just know that the funny thing is, like, people who make fun of you for doing TikTok or acting or anything, like, the only reason I felt comfortable graduating is because I worked hard on social media and TikTok. Like, that's how I support myself fully. So, like, there's no, I don't understand it. But it's another thing for me is, like, it's funny to see people, like, I of course not on the same level as both you guys, but like, I have a tough time trusting people too, because I've had friends in school, I've had people in school who, like, when I was posting on Instagram and had no followers, like, they would laugh, just as you were saying, like, maybe they're talking behind my back and I would go say hi to someone and they'd kind of like shrug me off and stuff. And then now I see that person after I've worked so hard on something that they told me I should, like, you made fun of me for doing this thing. Yeah. And now they come up to me like, oh, hey, dude, like, we got to play sometime. So, like, just watch this.
We got to play sometime.
Yeah, just ignore it.
Spencer,
like,
you know, that is the biggest crock of shit in the entire world.
No, but they mean it. They mean it when you're at a point where they think that now you're successful, doing the thing that they made fun of you for, which is crazy. Yeah.
People who are negative like that, they don't last. Even if, like, because there's nothing wrong with, like, you know, taking a while to get something off the ground. Yeah. I mean, I think basically most famous people we know about took a very long time.
Of course.
You know what I mean? What was I talking about?
And passion.
James Cameron, the director, was a truck driver till 28 years old. 28 years old, he was a truck driver, and he said, I want to make movies. And he went and did it. And it took him a while. Yeah. But he's freaking James Cameron. But, you know, it's like, so there's nothing wrong with taking a while. The problem is if you're taking a while, or even if you're not taking a while, maybe if you're doing well, but then you're just trying to, like, beat everyone down at the same time.
Yeah.
No good.
It's all about, like, it's just about being perceived. Like, it's like you kind of just have to block out that part of your brain where it's like, yeah, like, I know, like, my friends and family are seeing this, and, like, maybe people are like, oh, this is so silly, and like why are you doing this? But, like, you just have to do it. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's gonna be out there doing it for you. You just have to just do it.
Absolutely.
See, my friends and family already know I'm ridiculous, so they don't care that I exist.
That's great.
My mom actually likes to tell everyone she's TikTok famous because she was in a TikTok video of mine. She basically just pointed at a picture of me as a kid and said gay, and it got like 7 million views.
Everybody thought she was like, yay, but she was like, yay.
Yeah. It was very funny. It was very funny, but it got like 7 million views. So my mom likes to think she's TikTok famous now.
Well, that's nice to know that your mom's TikTok famous.
She is famous. No.
Yeah, she is famous.
Well,
yeah, she's a legend.
Your mom is actually really funny. I went to one of your shows, which was so fun. I guess we're gonna go back now to talk about AfterxClass as a whole. I went to one of your shows in New York. You were playing at a drag show, and it was I've never been to a drag show before this, and it was so fun. It was so fun. I think it was also around Halloween, so the costumes were especially sick. Like they were really cool, and everyone was dancing and. Like the vibes were so great.
Yeah.
What?
High budget stuff. Like it was. Like,
everyone like brought all their guns out. It was really awesome. And the other thing, I think I told you, Spencer, and I might have shown you a video, but it was so cool because at that performance, like there were fans there who were singing "Honey," like every word that you were saying. She was like this girl who was right in front was singing it along. Did you ever, I guess, expect that going into this? Like, wow, like.
I honestly didn't. Like, it was kind of crazy. I, like, did not expect it. Like, I've like seen like tweets and stuff where people are like, oh yeah, I listen to like this one song of your guys' with my husband every night, and like
It's crazy.
crazy stuff like that. And it's like, it's really weird to think about that, like these things that I wrote in my room at like 3 a.m, like actually matter to people.
Yeah.
And like I'll have like, I always show all my friends like the stuff we're working on, because I'm like, listen, I'm like so proud of this. And,
Yeah,
like
me too.
sometimes my friends will like force me to send them the demos so they can listen to it over and over again. And it's like, it's never something I expected. Like I thought like music was always going to be something I did on my own and never showed anyone. But like, here we are now.
That's awesome.
It's so cool to like the fact that people listen to our music, like without us being like, yo, listen to our music. Like people like listen to it for fun because they actually like the song. Like,
yeah,
that is just crazy. We can see the playlists we're on. I don't know if you've seen this, but we're on this daycare playlist. And like Honey is on it, and I'm like, Honey's just listening. Like I don't know.
Is there a clean version, or are they just blurting out the F-bomb?
I think it's honestly probably from some fandom. We get on a lot of like fandom playlists for like, I've been seeing like a lot of like Five Nights at Freddy's playlists.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, all right, pop off Five Nights at Freddy's.
Let's go for it.
So it's like kind of crazy to think about. And like, if you like I always like to look at like all the statistics to see like how often people are listening to it. And like on average, especially for songs like Honey, like each person that listens to the song listens to it 3 times.
That's awesome.
So like our ratio is like a lot of our streams are from people listening to it over and over again, which is like almost in like my mind better than like more people listening to it once.
Yeah.
That means it's like pair.
And those people come back.
Yeah.
They come back. They come back for
I'm
more.
not forcing them to do it.
That's
exactly.
Their own free will.
Well, your mom is so TikTok famous. Like I can't imagine they wouldn't want to listen to the band.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's true.
Yeah.
they're like, that's Millie's mom's daughter.
Millie's mom's daughter. And I guess we're gonna probably just have a couple more questions for you guys. But new singles out, Following Leica. What is the story behind that? And can you tell us the story behind that?
Yeah, so Following Leica is about like a real story. It's about Laika, who was one of the first animals sent into space during the Cold War by Russia.
Wow.
They rescued Laika off the street and like rehabilitated her and then shot her up to space with no plans of returning her. And they thought she was going to die of dehydration or starvation, but she actually ended up dying like 5 hours into orbit from stress. Shut up.
Telling a serious story. All right, wait. Dead animals. Oh gosh.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's a really sad story. It's based off that. It's yeah, I mean, like it was a story that I had like heard a few times and like always like made me cry. And like I always saw it like on TikTok and social media because like everyone likes to talk about it because it's that type of story. And like I had recently had an experience where I felt like I was like shot up into space and then just like, you know, I'm like, okay, you're welcome for the character development. I guess I'm just like gonna chill here, or whatever. And it's just like, it's about Laika, but it's also about the idea that like sometimes you can do something for someone else and it can help them out a lot, and then they just like peace out, but like at least you helped them. And like sometimes you don't get anything out of things. So it was kind of like about that feeling, which I feel like Laika was probably feeling in that spaceship, which is very sad. But yeah, that song I feel like was a lot to write. It was very dark. I just remember I like called Spencer at 3 a.m. and I like played him the chorus of it. And then when we recorded it, I was like with this song especially, I was very adamant about exactly how it should be. And like I picked all the samples and where they should go in that entire song and like very structurally. And we had like a finished version like way back in September. And then we were like, it's not quite there yet. Yeah. So then we like redid like basically the whole thing. And then we got to another version, which Spencer and our producer were like, I like this one. It's good. And I was like, guys, it's not good enough though.
It was dancey, but it didn't fit the vibe.
Yeah. Like
it didn't tell the story as much as it sounded like pleasing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like with that song especially, and like most of our songs, I'm very adamant about like feeling should be the most important thing. Because like a song can sound great, but if it doesn't mean something to you, you're not going to listen to it again.
Yeah.
And you're like it's not going to matter as much to you as like a song that emotionally impacts you. So I was like, we're not quite there yet, and like we have to do this song justice. We have to do Laika justice. Like this is like, it has like such good potential as a song, and it wasn't quite there yet. So like I made them make a bunch of changes again, and I was like fighting with them for a few days, like, no guys, they're like, it's honestly fine. I'm like, it's not. And I was getting like all my like music friends and stuff to like see their opinions, and like they're siding with me. So then eventually I like forced Spencer to.
Is it ever tough working in a duo? Because I've worked in some groups before where it's like we love each other, we're like the best friends, but sometimes it's like, all right, we just need to like go our separate ways for a second, figure out, where are you? Because sometimes you come into a room and you're like, this is how it should be. And they're like, no, this is how it should be.
Yeah.
And then like you can pull back from it and be like, okay, well, like parts of that are right and parts of this are right. Like, do you ever have to deal with stuff like that where you kind of...
Yeah, I think compromise is like really important when like working like in a joint thing, because it's like I can't just be like, okay, it's gonna be like this, you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
I found myself sometimes like I really need to listen to what Millie has to say a lot of times, because she's not a musician, and we're making these. I mean, you're a musician, but you're not like an instrumentalist. When you go to Berkeley, there's musicians, and it's like you're making music for non-musicians essentially, and like what she has to bring to the table is so like amazing in that sense, where it's like she feels the music instead of like the chords, you know what I mean? I think about the chords and I think about the harmony, where she's just thinking about the emotion in the story. And like sometimes like, is this chord cool and has like some cool tension? Like, yeah, but like that doesn't really have anything to do with what the song is trying to portray. So it's like sometimes I'll be like, oh, we should put this like sick chord here. And Millie's like, no, it doesn't fit with the song. And I'm like, what does that even mean? But then like I've come to realize that, and that's really important. And like I think we balance each other out really well, because I focus so much on like the instrumental and the arrangement and like how like it just sounds sonically. And Millie's so good with melody, and she's so good with lyrics.
Yeah. I'm the vibe police.
I was reading her lyrics once in the class, and I was just getting chills. I was like, this is unbelievable. Just like, it's like poetry. It's really unbelievable.
Now I have an off-topic question, if that's okay with you.
Yeah. You're good.
Okay.
I love the hesitation.
There is
I have like two more questions. Like,
are they a little more in order? Because mine's off.
Well, yeah. I guess this is kind of.
It's really your question. You pitched.
Oh,
this.
you're gonna.
Because
this suspense.
I'm like.
There's no evidence for this being true.
Oh, but you're gonna ask. Okay.
I want to know. I'm very curious. There's no evidence that this is true,
except for
there's just speculation. But you want to ask? It's you're the one. You
no, just
the
because
research.
We do research on both you guys before we have you on. There is one forum, which might be true or not, and it says that Ben Shapiro is your cousin. Is Ben Shapiro your cousin?
There we go.
We've settled the beef.
Why would that be true?
We've settled the beef. No. I'm just.
Okay, I will tell you the story, because I get these comments all the time.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, you're Ben Shapiro's cousin, whatever. Basically, when a lot of Jewish people immigrated, there's a lot of names. And because the world is horrible, they just gave them all Shapiro.
Yep, that's my roommate's last name.
There you go.
It's the most common Jewish last name. If you're Jewish in any way, you will not ask that question, apparently.
Yeah.
I've like known so many people with the same last name, Shapiro. And it's like worse because like my sister, she like her name's different now, but like her like name, like she used to go by Abigail. So like she got a lot of hate because Ben Shapiro's sister's name is Abigail Shapiro. But no, we're not related, and honestly, like it's kind of a little bit anti-Semitic feeling at this point, because of people just automatically assuming it.
Yeah, no,
and I'm like,
crazy.
do you assume everyone with the same last name is related?
No, it was crazy. I literally had searched your name to look, and like one of the next questions, like it just has, it'll tell you like, what are people searching?
Yeah.
And the first article is completely incorrect.
Yeah, because I was just like,
it's like people are just really dumb. There's like
that is really stupid though.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Guys, we're not related.
my thought process.
Also, even if we were related, I have never spoken about that person. Never. Why would it like have anything to do with me?
Yeah.
Ben just comes over for Thanksgiving.
So let's talk about Trump. It ruins every Thanksgiving.
Can I hear the new single?
The new single. I would like to hear the new single.
Can you explain what you mean by
drums could be turned up just 2%?
2%, about 1%.
So are you gonna tell me that? So are you gonna tell me that it was totally necessary to say the F word right now? And is this really accurate to the policy?
This vulgar language.
Is that really good for the policy using that foul language?
No, but the reason. I mean, I think I'm just brainwashed because when you look that up, you go, it's just the same last name.
Yeah.
But then you see there's a forum about it, and I'm like, well, maybe it's true. If all of these other people,
I'm glad though because
I'm happy. My
I'm glad
first
we
inclination
settled it.
was no, but I'm sad that I didn't let the fact that I saw multiple people saying it made me go,
Oh yeah.
well, these people are
Yeah.
probably intelligent
Yeah.
on Reddit.
Yep. Well, the internet's
you
true.
know, I've made many a post about it. Doesn't work.
It doesn't.
Nobody cares. People like forget instantly. It's kind of like a little ridiculous at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, I'm sorry that when my family emigrated and Ben Shapiro's family probably emigrated, they gave them the same last name. I don't know how it works. It's like really dumb. I'm like, dude, maybe we are related, but like, who isn't related?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm related. I'm like,
wait, maybe you are related?
when you know
Uh-oh.
you're ever
You guys could be
every time.
50th cousins.
I
you
know. I'm like, dude, a lot
Really,
of Jewish
we
people
can't be
are
friends
inherently
anymore.
related. No, like if you think about it, so many Jewish people are inherently related.
Yeah, no, that is
Like,
true.
Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah,
like,
yeah.
guys, give me a break.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a universe, if we traced it back far enough.
You're probably related to Ben Shapiro. Calm
Undoubtedly,
down.
I'm related to
Oh,
Ben
absolutely.
Shapiro.
Look, it just has to be.
It has
just
to
has
be.
to be. So okay,
Wet
now
ass
that we've settled the speculation, I guess there's probably like two more questions. One would be what's coming down the pipeline. What's up next? You were talking about an EP, but give us kind of like your plan. What's
What's the big picture?
Basically, after Laika, we wanted to do an EP, and I was like, Spencer, we should do an EP. And Spencer's like, I don't know, man. And then I was like, I don't know, man. Because like, there's a lot of stuff with like Spotify algorithm that like isn't that great for when you do EPs.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then once we were like thinking and talking about it more, we thought it'd be like a fun thing to do, and we're really excited about it. Honestly, it has like 4 or 5 songs on it.
Mhm.
awesome?
And all of the beginnings of the songs are the ends of the song before.
I
So they
love
all
that.
kind of like flow together,
Yeah.
which was my friend's idea. And then I like promptly stole it from them. And I was like, thank you, friend. But yeah, it's really cool. We did like a lot of like, this is very much like the first song where we're kind of doing a lot of like the producing on our own in a way. We're kind of like setting up everything. And it's very different than what we did before. We kind of were starting to do that with Laika, but now we're like kind of figuring our groove. And then I also made Spencer go outside with me and like every like sample that we have in the entire thing we found.
Awesome.
So we're using all of our own sounds. I was like, guys, I learned this in film class. It's time.
Do you use
Yeah.
do you use
They're
like a
called song
Zoom?
seeds too.
Do you use like a Zoom
No,
recorder
we
or
literally
just an iPhone?
No,
I love
just
it.
take a voice note. We just like go to like some water running or like
Awesome.
some geese or like
Well, the
a train or
I mean, this is not uncommon knowledge, but the hi-hat in Bad Guy by Billie Eilish is just that Australian
Walking
the
sound.
walking signal.
Like if you were to cross the
Just
street,
recorded
you-
with an iPhone.
yeah,
Freaking
Yeah.
what?
Oh, really?
2
You know,
billion
whatever
views?
works.
yeah.
Yeah.
Works.
That's really really awesome though that you're adding actual experiences for like where you are into the music and
Makes it kind of like a musical time capsule.
yeah.
If that doesn't sound too
Yeah.
fancy a way to
Yeah.
put it. But like it really encapsulates what you're doing at that time in a way that it's not just like you're ripping a sample off of Splice, which is of course, that's
Yeah.
a good thing to do. Sometimes you need something easy. But it is cool to have that touch of something that is more unique.
More
Makes it more
personal.
timeless, and it obviously is just going to make it more unique to everyone who's listening.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we usually like to. Do you have any more questions or?
No, I
You've settled the most important. So we usually like to end each podcast with kind of a positive message from you guys. So let's say there's someone who comes up to you and says, "Hey, Millie, Spencer, I really love what you're doing, and I really want to be able to do what you do." Kind of one piece of advice or what you would tell that person.
I would say for me, if you know you have something good or you really want to do something, you just have to do it. like any way possible. Like if you know it's something you need to do, you should just do it. Like even if it's going to be hard and even if it's going to like change a lot of things for you, if you feel like it's worth it, do it.
That's kind of similar to what I was with. That's really good.
I like that.
I was gonna say like if you like don't be afraid to put yourself out there and just promote yourself and just do your thing, because like if you're not, you're just gonna live your whole life like wondering like what if I didn't, you know? I mean, what if I did, you know?
Yeah.
Just do it. Don't care what people think. Like it's so easy to say that, but just do it.
Or if you do care what people think, do it anyways.
Exactly.
That's right. Ignore them.
That's what I'm doing right now. Well, thank you guys. AfterxClass,
Yep.
Millie, Spencer.
Thank you guys so much for coming on.
We appreciate it. Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
taking the time out.
Yeah,
Of course.
To everyone who watched and listened, you have any last words?
Sorry.
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 Thank you for watching.
Thank you, guys.
We will be back next time.